Episode 1 of With Love Meghan, titled Hello Honey, opens with a serene shot of a bee on a flower. Meghan, the Duchess of Sussex, checks on her beehives while Big Red Machine's Phoenix plays in the background. She confesses to the beekeeper in a whispery voice that she knows people do this alone, but she can't. She needs his help because, frankly, it scares her. But fear aside, she's delighted to see how the bee population has grown and marvels at their sense of purpose. There's a brief lesson on the lifespan of bees and their different roles, all of which seem to deeply resonate with Meghan. She notes how connected the bees are to their work, perhaps a metaphor for her own life. Now we're in the kitchen, where Meghan arrives carrying a bouquet of flowers. She's preparing for a visit from her longtime friend Daniel Martin. She explains that whenever she has guests over, she loves to prepare a welcoming experience. According to her, what's placed next to the bed is important. It's their good morning and good night moment. So, she's making bath salts. The recipe: Epsom salts, arnica oil for bumps and bruises, lavender oil, pink Himalayan sea salt, a great anti-inflammatory, and a little stirring. She also makes a tea bag filled with dried lavender and rosebuds to prevent clogging the drain. Meghan beams about the joy of hostessing, surprising guests and letting them know their experience was considered from start to finish. She reminisces about meeting Daniel back in 2010, when she first started attending events while working on Suits in Toronto. They've been together through what she calls the before, during, and after. The kids even call him Uncle Daniel, a small but notable detail, possibly hinting at the lack of a relationship between her children and Prince William. Meghan wants Daniel to feel comfortable and loved, so she's going all out to create a cozy atmosphere. She clips some flowers for the bedside table, calling it a sweet, simple gesture to show someone they're being thought of. Next, Meghan prepares snacks for Daniel, demonstrating a popcorn trick she's just learned. She pops a dried cob of corn in a paper bag in the microwave and watches as it turns into popcorn. To elevate it, she adds truffle oil and salt, then packs it into a labeled plastic bag. She repeats the process with peanut butter pretzels, snacking on some along the way, and assembles the guest basket. Cut to coffee making and the artistic arrangement of a crudité platter. Just as she's finishing up, Daniel arrives. He immediately comments on how stunning the platter is, asking how long it took her. Meghan says it's just chopping and a little artistic flair. Time to cook. Meghan makes single skillet spaghetti, emphasizing the simplicity. No need to switch pans. She starts chopping cherry tomatoes, but when Daniel tries to help, he immediately cuts himself. Meghan playfully scolds him and assigns him tea duty to protect his hands. He protests, noting that he's left-handed and only cut his right hand. As Meghan preps the dish, Daniel reminisces about how Meghan has always shown love through food. He recalls when she first booked him for a press event, she called herself because she didn't have an agent. He also brings up the TIG, her old lifestyle blog, where he served as her beauty editor. Meghan describes the TIG as a passion project she worked on between Suit scenes, a space where she could share things she loved. Back to the spaghetti. Meghan adds salt and olive oil to the tomatoes, boils water, and chops garlic. She places dried spaghetti directly into the skillet, explaining that she often makes this for the kids, not that they always eat noodles, but they love leftovers in their lunchboxes. She throws in some lemon zest, chard, and kale, then lets it all cook together before finishing with parmesan and chili flakes. Daniel is impressed. It's hearty but not heavy. Now, it's time for honey harvesting. But first, if you're enjoying this recap, please remember to subscribe to our channel. That really helps us a lot. Now, it's time for honey harvesting. Meghan excitedly scrapes honey from the panel with a wooden spoon, calling the process amazing. She admits she never liked honey before but now has a newfound appreciation. The beekeeper filters the honey through a sieve, and Meghan, clearly delighted, asks what to do with the leftover wax. The answer: make candles. Back in the kitchen, Meghan and Daniel embark on their first ever candle-making attempt. Meghan has all the instructions written down. First, they melt the beeswax using a bain-marie, making sure it reaches the right temperature. They choose essential oils and candle vessels, anchor the wicks with a bit of wax, and stabilize them with dowels. Meghan quips that it feels like the amazing race of candles. Once the wax cools, they cut the wicks and label their little jars. With that done, Meghan turns to the final project, decorating a cake she pre-baked. She admits that baking isn't her favorite thing, but she'll do it for people she loves. The cake is a 3-layer honey lemon cake with berries. She levels the layers with a knife, and Daniel remarks that it reminds him of her wedding cake, which he helped taste test. Meghan brushes honey glaze over the sponge, then layers it with buttercream and raspberry preserves made from her garden's berries. Once assembled, the cake goes into the fridge. Meghan and Daniel finish the cake's decoration with frosting, strawberries, and lemon verbena leaves. Meanwhile, Meghan makes honey ginger lemon tea, which Daniel calls delicious. Finally, Meghan cuts into the cake. Though it looks a bit dry, she proudly declares it's beautiful on the inside. They take their cake and tea outside, overlooking the Los Padres National Forest. Daniel thanks Meghan for everything, and she says she was happy to do it. They reflect on their day of cooking, crafting, and reminiscing. Daniel points out that Meghan always sends him home with thoughtful gifts, but the basket she gave him this time is extra special. It's about making things with intention for someone you love. They clink glasses and toast to love. And that's it for episode 1 of With Love, Meghan. Please stay tuned for the next recap of another new show, and remember to subscribe for more great content.